Hello and welcome to Weekly MTG. I'm your host, Blake Rasmussen, and I am incredibly excited to be here today to kind of do a continuation of our PAX debut panel that we held last Friday. We're going to talk more about Marvel's Spider-Man set we've got coming up. And to do that, I have one of those panelists. Like I said, this is a bit of a continuation. We've got Mark Rosewater here as well to help us talk through a bunch of cards in this
Spider-Man, I'm very excited.
Spider-Man, Mark and I, we spent all of our prep time talking about Spider-Man, talking about different comics and what we like.
We'll try to mention magic today if we can.
Yes, we've also only got an hour, so we'll try to keep it to that. But we're going to preview a bunch of cards. We're going to start with, the first section's titled Villainous, and there's one villain and then one not really a villain. Then we're gonna head to New York and look at the setting. We're gonna look at some cards that kind of set the world of Spider-Man. And then we're gonna look at a slew of preview cards. And yes, we do have some of the source material cards that have been pretty popular so far. So we're just gonna dive into it. We're gonna start with our first preview card, which is Lady Octopus, Inspired Inventor. For a single blue mana, you get a 0/2 human scientist villain. Whenever you draw your first or second card each turn, put an Ingenuity counter on Lady Octopus, and then tap, you may cast an artifact spell from your hand with mana value less than or equal to the number of Ingenuity counters on Lady Octopus without paying its mana cost. All right, this card certainly looks powerful, Mark, but talk a little bit first about Lady Octopus.
So once again, we have the rights to the comics. So these are representing the comics. So in the comics, Lady Octopus first showed up in the Clone Saga. Dr. Octopus died. I mean, he came back, but Dr. Octopus died, and she replaced him for a little while.
Yeah.
She worked for Dr. Octopus, and then ended up becoming the new Dr. Octopus. Probably, as characters go, she's a little lesser-known character, but one of the things that we try to do is when characters get known in other media, and she was very well known by being one of the major villains in the first animated Spider-Man film, we were very conscious of making choices of taking characters people might know from other places.
Yeah.
Again, we did the comic version because that's what we're doing. But this is Lady Octopus, so.
Yeah, and for standard play, for commander play, this has got a pretty unique ability. Getting counters for first or second card each turn, so you can get 2 counters on it a turn, cast spells for free. I'm excited for this.
One of the things that's nice to do from a design standpoint is to marry 2 different things together. The idea of wanting to draw cards but wanting to have artifacts. It just makes for a really interesting kind of deck, and it's mono blue if you're going to make a commander out of it. So it's just giving you a very different kind of deck.
Yeah.
Most artifact decks are not about drawing cards. So we like doing stuff like that. It just gives you a niche of doing something slightly different.
Now, I do, while we're here on this one, too, the type line is human scientist villain. You've talked about this before in a couple places, but we talk a little bit about how you assigned creature types based on which characters had, animals in their names. So, like, most of the spider heroes are spider heroes.
The rule of thumb we used was, do you have any of that animal sort of within you?
Yeah.
Right? Spider-Man actually has some spider DNA. He's tied to the spider totem. Like, there's spiderness in Spider-Man in a way that there's not octopus in Dr. Octopus or Lady Octopus. Like, they're metaphorically because they have all the limbs. They have 8 limbs, but they're not actually octopuses. So that's why we didn't put octopus. One of the things we did do here is one of our when we first started working on Marvel as a whole, for the whole brand, all the sets of Marvel, we decided that we wanted hero and villain to be a through line. Because heroes and villains are a huge part of Marvel. And so, as you will see, there's a lot of opportunities to do hero and villain typo. In fact, Dr. Octopus, we've already shown, is a blue-black typo card for villain. So, Lady Octopus could go into the Dr. Octopus deck, for example.
Absolutely. All right, next up, we have a card from one of my favorite mainline comic cards. I'm a huge Ultimate fan, so we'll set that aside for now. But the main universe, we have Superior Spider-Man. So for 2, a blue and a black, legendary creature, Spider Human Hero, you may have Superior Spider-Man enter as a copy of any creature card in a graveyard except his name is Superior Spider-Man, and he's a 4/4 Spider Human Hero in addition to his other types. When you do, exile that card. And then it's got some flavor text from Otto Octavius. So what's going on here, Mark?
Okay, so what happens is, apparently Otto's always dying. So he was dying, and he ends up swapping his mind with Peter Parker. So Peter Parker's trapped in the dying Octavius body, and he is in Peter's body, and he decides that he is going to become a better Spider-Man, a superior Spider-Man. And so there's a while in the comics where Spider-Man is, in fact, Otto Octavius in the body of Peter Parker. And he ends up being a little more vicious. Like, clearly in his heart, he's a villain, but he's trying to be a hero. This is why he's a hero here. He is, in fact, trying to do the right thing. He is a little more aggressive than Peter is. He's a little more violent than Peter is. But it was a really, really fun run. You're correct. And that it's a chance of watching. Like, the thing that's interesting is originally he had devious plans, but when he gets Peter's memories, like, he gets inspired to be a hero. That when he sees what Peter's gone through, so it's really interesting. We get a chance of Otto trying to be a hero, and so this card's representing that. It's sort of copying something. Like, it really is trying to tie the whole storyline, and I think in a fun way.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so not really a villain, but like there's a bit there. All right, so now I want to move on to the section about New York. So, you know, in the Spider-Verse and in this set, New York, Spider-Man's New York is very much a character.
Yes.
And you all tried to bring that to life in this set.
Yeah. So one of the things about it is Spider-Man setting. Like, we are a very setting, like, that's what we do. We make environments, we make worlds. So if we're making the world of Spider-Man, that is New York.
Yeah.
You know, he's from Queens. Clearly, he very much, his adventures and his stories. I mean, not that Spider-Man never leaves New York, because he does, but that's the center of where he's from. And we were really trying to capture that. And I know that a lot of work went into sort of figuring out, can we have things that just represent the feel of New York?
Yeah.
So as we will see, there's a bunch of cards that just really try to capture different aspects of that New York feel.
Yeah.
And this is our, obviously we want you to go fetch basic lands, but we'll give you a special New York version of it.
Exactly. All right, and then part of having a vibrant New York is having some gallant citizens. So for here, you get, for hybrid green-white, you get a human citizen 1/1. When this creature enters, draw a card. Now, this is representing any sort of gallant citizen, but the art here is representing a specific gallant
citizen. One of the things that we learned, so Marvel, one of the great things about working with Marvel is there's infinite characters.
Yeah.
And we only, even though we have lots of cards, there's only so many characters that we can make as legendary characters. So one of the things we did is, even when we're doing non-legendary, we like to make nods to things. Like, we could show random person, but why not show someone who means something? So, so this is Jonah Jameson III, referred to as John Jameson. He's the son of J. Jonah Jameson. He's an astronaut.
Yep.
He goes to space, and he gets turned into a werewolf. So Man-Wolf is not in this set, but we did do, there are 4 figures we made in conjunction with Hasbro, and they come with cards. 3 of them come with cards that are from the set, but one of them, Man-Wolf, comes with a special card, which is Huntmaster of the Feld reskinned as Man-Wolf.
Yep. All right. Next up, we have, you know, one of the most popular cards that we revealed on Friday was the City Pigeon.
Yes.
And the City Pigeon was shown on one of these things. So
Yes, he was.
let's see the hot dog card.
He's stealing the hot dog from this hot dog card.
So for the hot dog card is a 3-mana artifact. When this artifact enters, create a food token, and then you can tap to add 1 mana of any color.
So one of the things is we need our, like, you need the 3-drop artifact to capture any color. That's a staple that we do in a lot of sets. And that's a great opportunity to, like, exactly what you're saying, is trying to capture some environment.
Yeah.
And so the hot dog, like, what is New York without a hot dog card? So.
Exactly. And we do, so we also got asked for the food token. I believe we have an image of the food token.
Yeah.
There's the food token with Spider-Man in the background, just waiting in line.
Yes, and I believe the pigeon comes and takes this hot
this
dog.
Exact hot dog. All right, there it is, everyone. There's your food token for this set. All right, let's move on to our next card in the city. News Helicopter, 3-mana artifact creature, Construct. 1/1 flying. When this creature enters, create a 1/1 green and white human citizen creature token.
Yeah, the one thing is I just call it the flavor text, which is sort of fun. So Peter Parker is a photographer, and one of the ways he makes his money is by taking pictures of Spider-Man.
Yep.
And so within the Marvel Universe, he's well known as being the photographer that's really good at capturing Spider-Man. So they're referencing that here.
Yep.
So.
And this card, kind of like City Pigeon, actually is, it's one of those cards in the set that's there to enable other things. For example, this is a good card to web sling back to your hand. You get that citizen token again, and you get your creature a little cheaper.
And the reason it's green and white real quick is one of the things we try to do is we try to consolidate our creature types.
Right.
So if we make something, we ended up wanting to be green and white. So any card that makes the human citizen, it's green and white.
Yep. Speaking of human citizen, here is the human citizen token for this set.
Yep. Shocked by Spider-Man. It's putting by.
All right, someone just asked why that wasn't a vehicle. Let's take a look at a vehicle. Subway trains. Of course, we've got to do this for New York. So it is an artifact vehicle for 2 mana. It's a 3/1 with crew 2. But when this vehicle enters, you may pay green. If you do, search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, and put it into your hand, then shuffle. So, subway train, Mark?
Yeah, well, I mean, mostly we like the idea of when you fetch land, like you're looking and finding other places. And so how do you travel in New York? Of the subway train. So.
Absolutely. I think there's some cool things going on with vehicles in the set too, again, with web slinging, because crew is sort of a quote-unquote free way to tap things.
Yeah.
And so you can get a tapped creature just by crewing. And also, this one has that enters the battlefield ability. If you want to web sling this away at some point, you can replay it to get some more lands. Might as well.
Yeah.
All right, and then we got another vehicle that's in a similar vein. We have the Passenger Ferry. 3 mana for an artifact vehicle that's a 4/3 when you crew to it. Whenever this vehicle attacks, you may pay blue. When you do, another target attacking creature can't be blocked this turn.
Yeah, I mean, just trying to get some invasion in there. And one of the things that's fun is obviously there's lots of ways to get around New York. So you see us.
Yep.
You can take the train, you can take the ferry, so it's trying to capture that.
And the flavor text again here is great. Staten Island in peril, give me an hour?
Yes. Gwen, I think canonically Gwen lives in Brooklyn, I think. I can't remember where she lives. But she lives somewhere she has to take a ferry. So.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we have one more card depicting New York, and this is a fun one. We have Bagel and Schmear. Well, there's a fun story behind this one, but first we're going to start with this is a 1 mana artifact, which is important. Artifact food. You can share it for a white and tap and sack, put a +1/+1 counter on up to 1 target creature, draw a card, activate only as a sorcery, or Nosh. It's got that typical food ability to sacrifice it. You gain 3 life. This one also draws you a card. So what's the story behind this one, Mark?
So 2 things. First off, just to notice that this and subway train and the ferry, we are trying to weave a little bit of color in there.
Yep.
So the idea is they have some utility, but they have extra utility if you have those colors
Right.
and such. The funny story about this is I believe this card was originally made, I think, by Gavin. And originally it cost 0 because it's a bagel and it costs 0. And then the play design team were like, we do not make 0-cost artifacts. They're like, please, 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 could we make one exception for bagel? And we tried so hard, and in the end, play design won out, and that card balance precedes cuteness of. But anyway, we did try. So for those asking out there, we tried very hard to make the 0, and we don't do that anymore. So.
And chat's giving me crap about how I pronounce this card. I know I'm from the Midwest. I'm not even going to say it again.
Yeah.
Shamed me. All right, we're going to move on to some cards that are less about New York and more about Spider-Man and his story specifically. So here we have Terrific Team Up. 3 and a green for an instant. This spell costs 2 less to cast if you control a permanent with mana value 4 or greater. And then 1 or 2 target creatures you control each get +1/+0 until end of turn. They each deal damage equal to their power to target creature an opponent controls. So team up is kind of the word you were honing in on.
This card actually is making 2 different nods because we try to get as many deep cuts as we can. So for a long time, there was a comic called Marvel Team Up. And Marvel Team Up was what we call a team-up comic, and it was always Spider-Man and some other person. So Spider-Man would team up with everybody you could possibly imagine in the Marvel Universe. Also, this is also making reference to Peter Parker and Miles did a lot of teaming up, even back all the way to the Ultimate Universe. They traded universe, they visit each other, and there's been a bunch of limited comics of them teaming up. So this is sort of showing that Spider-Man does a lot of team ups, but in particular, it's just making a nod to Peter and Miles teaming up.
Yeah, and in terms of this card's abilities, the red-green draft archetype cares about if a creature has mana value 4 or greater. So this is kind of one of those, every set has the green uncommon fight or bite spell, and this is a bite, and this one cares if they have mana value 4 or greater.
Yeah, the idea here is that the red-green deck will want this slightly more than other people, so they're a little more incentivized to take it. But obviously, if they don't take it, it's a kill spell. Other green decks.
Any green deck will take this. Yeah, exactly. All right, next up we have Professional Wrestler. 3 and a green for a creature, Human Warrior Performer, which is a heck of a type line. When this creature enters, create a treasure token, and this creature can't be blocked by more than 1 creature.
Okay, so first off, a little spider lore. So when Spider-Man first gets bitten by the spider and gains spider powers, his first inclination is not to become a superhero, to become a professional wrestler. He actually, and the first thing he wrestles for money is he wrestles Crusher Hogan. He defeats him to get his money. And at that event, that professional event, a robber comes and robs them, and Spider-Man does not stop the robber because he goes, that is not my job to stop the robber. And that robber would go on to kill Uncle Ben. And it is that tragedy of the idea that he could have stopped the person that killed Uncle Ben that makes him take up the mantle of saying, with great power comes great responsibility, and makes him decide that he should use his powers for a greater good, not just to make money. So this, once again, this is not a legendary card, but we wanted to make reference to Crusher Hogan, who had this important point. So the card is a nod to Crusher Hogan without it being, it represents all wrestlers, I guess. Yeah. The other thing to point out, by the way, is Performer, actually, I believe, premiered in Unfinity.
It did, yes.
And it has slowly now made its way into a non-unset, so maybe you'll see more Performers along the way.
And we do have the treasure token we can show off here. Maybe.
Perhaps.
It's not related to this card. It is related to what, Mark?
It is Dr. Octopus robbing something, robbing some money from somewhere. So, and Spider-Man stopping him, according to
Of course. Always. All right. Next up, we have a card called Supportive Parents. I love this card. So 2 and a green is a creature, human citizen, for 3/3. Tap 2 untapped creatures you control. Add 1 mana of any color. So who is this in this picture?
So we were seeing the back of Miles Morales, who is one of the spider people. And this is his parents. Unlike Peter Parker, Miles has 2 living parents who are very supportive. And it's one of the nice things about the Miles comic is how much support he gets from his parents. And his mom's a doctor, his dad is a police officer. And so anyway, they are a big part of his. There's a lot of superheroes who lost their parents. A very recurring theme with lots of superheroes. But it's nice to see a superhero who has his parents, and they're very supportive of him.
Yeah, and I think they did go down the path of him losing one of his parents in the Ultimate Universe, and then when they reset everything, they brought him back.
Can somebody still have his parents, please?
Again, from my favorite moment, he gave a hamburger to the Molecule Man, and the Molecule Man was basically like, I got you, Miles. Okay, next up, Damage Control Crew. So 3 and a green for a creature, human citizen. It's a 3/3. When this creature enters, choose 1. Repair, return target card with mana value 4 or greater from your graveyard to your hand. Again, there's that red-green archetype. Or impound, exile target artifact or enchantment.
So, 2 stories for this one. One is, so as we said earlier, a lot of Marvel stories take place in New York. And so there's just infinite stories of heroes fighting and buildings being destroyed and stuff like that. So many years ago, the people at Marvel said, well, okay, somebody has to fix that. Like if someone gets in a fight and they knock over a building, well, someone has to come repair that. So they made what they call damage control, which are these people that their job is to come clean up after superhero fights. And it's the kind of thing that went on in the background, and then eventually they started referencing it. So how do we not have, we thought it'd be great to reference the damage control since they're the people that clean up. My other story that's very funny is, so I'm what's called a SME, which is a subject matter expert. So one of my jobs is I have to read the file and just double checking things. And so when they did names and flavor text, they had me read it. So originally this said we got 30 minutes until Spider's webbing dissolves. I need engineers on site now. And actually, his web does not dissolve in 30 minutes. So anyway, so my contribution to this card.
All right, we've got a couple more of these before we get to the source material. Next up is a fun one. We have the Spider-Mobile. For 3 mana, you get an artifact vehicle. It's a 3/3 with trample when you crew it for 2, and when this vehicle attacks or blocks, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each spider you control.
So this is from the 70s. There was a run in comics where everybody got cars for some reason. And so anyway, in the story, I believe like this car company wants Spider-Man to make a car, and Peter needs the money, so he makes a car with help of Human Torch, I believe, because Johnny's really into cars. And then at the end of the day, because of Mysterio, the car goes in the river, and then he owes them the car, but he doesn't have the car. And anyway, so it's a very silly thing. The car can drive up, it can stick to buildings and things, so it can drive up buildings. So we like to, one of the fun things about doing stuff like Marvel is there are a lot of very serious things we do, but there's some silly things.
Yeah.
And so we decided, I know early on when we were figuring out what to do, I think Spider-Mobile, we got to do the Spider-Mobile.
All right. And then our last new card of the day, but a good one because it is Spider Sense. So this is 1 and a blue for an instant that lets you counter target instant spell, sorcery spell, or triggered ability, but it has web slinging, which I don't believe, Mark, that we've seen on a non-creature yet.
I don't think we've seen that, no. This is really cool. It allows you to have a spell that you can make cheaper by bouncing a tapped creature. And so, and once again, it's only 1 mana cheaper, but that can matter quite a bit when you're trying to counter something you need. And so, the Spider Sense, for those that are unaware, Spider-Man has multiple superpowers, many of which mimic a spider. I'm not sure why Spider Sense comes from spiders, but he has the ability to sense danger.
Yeah.
In fact, this is a very famous scene that we're showing right here. He's fighting the Green Goblin. The Green Goblin is trying to hit him with his glider.
Yeah.
Because he has Spider Sense, he dives out of the way, and 2 seconds later, that is going to impale Green Goblin. So once again, we try to do a lot of deep cuts. This is not just a random scene. This is a very famous scene from a very pinnacle moment. For those, we're trying to get the deep cuts where we can. So.
Yeah. Well, and this card also has, as you can see on the right, a buy a box promo version. So if you purchase a box, play boosters or collector boosters from your local WPN participating game store, while supplies last, you can pick up the buy a box promo version of this.
And the buy a box promo does have, just a real quick thing on the art. One of the gimmicks many, many years ago is they would do this thing where they wanted to show expression on Spider-Man's face, but he has a mask on. So they would do this half thing where they would show you underneath his mask so you could see his expression. So anyway, we're making a nod to that.
Perfect. All right, next up, we're going to go through source material cards. So, Mark, for those who didn't catch it, can you talk? So here's Thrill of Possibility. Before we get to talking about this specific card, what is the source material bonus sheet?
So the bonus sheet is, Wizards is well known for our amazing art, but we are partnering with Marvel, also well known for their amazing art. And so we wanted to have an opportunity to show off all the cool Spider-Man art from the history of time. And so what we did is we made a bonus sheet. These are all reprinted cards that have new art on them. And all the new art, full frame, is source material art, actual art from the comics.
Yeah. So what's going on with Thrill of Possibility here?
This is Miles during one of the... There's a lot of stories about the
Spider-Verse.
Spider-Verse, and this is one of the Spider-Verse stories. And you can see all the different spider people from different places.
Yep. All right, next up we have Arasta of the Endless Web, also known as Master Weaver Web Protector.
So one of the things that happen, there's so many characters. Forget Marvel as a whole, just Spider-Man. There's so many characters that we couldn't even fit all of them in the set.
Yep.
So this is a good example of, here's a less major character, a more minor character. There's a whole thing about the spider totem and the web of life that connects everybody. The Master Weaver is the person who makes it. It's a role, so different people become This is a specific Master Weaver. The other interesting thing about this Master Weaver is his name is Karn, K-A-R-N.
Yep.
So, anyway, I thought it was cool.
All right, next up we have a pretty cool one. So this is some older art for found on Winds of Chains.
Okay, so I think back in the 80s, 90s, when was the first Secret War?
I don't remember.
So the very first Secret War, basically what happens is they wanted to have a comic where all the heroes and villains fought each other. So this character named the Beyonder takes all our famous heroes and villains and transfers them across the galaxy so they could fight for whatever reason. They were on this alien planet. While there, Spider-Man finds this machine that makes him a brand new outfit. And so I believe this is from a really early comic where he started wearing the new outfit. This is mimicking his pose from Amazing Fantasy 15, which is the premiere, the first time Spider-Man ever showed up.
Yeah.
Obviously, same pose. He's different. The kids are with him rather than the one guy. And he has the new suit. But anyway, this is from the comic that was making reference to that. For those who don't know, that suit will later go on to be alive. It's Venom. This is where Venom comes from. That suit was actually a symbiote, which Peter didn't know at first.
No. And the reader didn't know at first.
And the reader didn't know. It was very exciting what happened. So.
All right, speaking of Venom, we have our final preview card of the day from the source material sheet. We have Opposition Agent featuring who, Mark?
This is Anti-Venom.
Agent Venom.
Agent Venom. Agent Venom. He is a good guy with a symbiote. And to show the fun of our design, underneath that outfit is Flash Gordon. Flash Thompson. Sorry.
Yep.
Flash Thompson. Mixing my words up today. Flash Thompson, a longtime ally of Peter Parker.
Yeah.
And friend in quotes.
Yep. Yeah, he was Peter Parker's bully in high school, but they eventually they made amends. But so we've seen a few versions of Flash Thompson in this set. We have the main set common that just sort of taps and untaps. Then we have an actual Agent Venom in the main set. Also has Flash and of course Opposition Agent. Perfect here.
Yes.
All right. That is all the preview cards we have for today.
Yes.
Mark, any last thoughts on anything we saw today?
Well, one of the things I'm hoping you're seeing today is the amount of time and attention to Spider-Man, to the past of Spider-Man. I mean, there's, like I said, you saw lots and lots of deep cuts today. As you see as the set comes out and you're looking through all the cards, look at the background, like a lot of energy was spent to make sure the Spider-Man fans got everything they could. And as a Spider-Man fan, it's very fun to see the set. There's just so much there. And so anyway, I hope you guys enjoy playing it as much as we like making it because it was super fun to make.
Absolutely. All right, so previews are going to continue the rest of this week. The full card image gallery for Marvel Spider-Man is coming out this Friday. And of course, previews all around the internet. If you check out the Where to Find Marvel Spider-Man preview article, I'm sure it's those words in some order on dailymtg.com. That'll let you know when and where to expect previews. We are going to be back next week, and when I say we, it's going to be just me on the screen next week. But we're going to be opening Spider-Man products so you can get a look at what this set looks like when you open it at your local game store. Until then, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.